Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things. And now we see them. And today we're going to be talking about Ben Simmons, unfortunately. So before we get into this video, please make sure you go and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, for those of you that have been following this channel for over a year at least, y'all know how I truly feel about Ben Simmons, right? I think that Ben Simmons is wasting everyone's time, and Ben Simmons found a very, very miraculous way to turn himself into the victim after that debacle with the Philadelphia 76ers, right? You have some people out there in media coming out there saying, oh, this, or is this problem, is that problem? But there were so many things with that Ben Simmons story that just didn't really make sense, like him passing his physical examination to become a Brooklyn Net, and then all of a sudden he had back issues, and we were like, well, did the Brooklyn Nets know about that? You had those question marks there, and then, you know, since joining the team, he didn't play, obviously, in the playoffs when he said he looked like he was very close. And, you know, this season, he's just been very, very bad, right? In terms, if you just go look at his numbers, he's been very bad. Now, over the years, there's been one particular supporter of Ben Simmons, and that person has been Skip Bayless. For whatever reason, Skip Bayless seems to see something in Ben Simmons that most of us don't. And he's always found a way to defend him. Just 2 days ago, he was a bit critical of the way that Ben Simmons was performing. And then last night, in a Brooklyn Nets victory, Ben Simmons, I believe, scored like 15 points, got 7 rebounds or something like that. And today, while on Undisputed, they were discussing his performance, and somehow, some way, Skip Bayless was able to find the silver lining in it. But before he spoke, Shannon Sharpe, who's always been honest about Ben Simmons, basically gave Skip Bayless, told him the truth about Ben Simmons. So what we want to do is want to play the exchange between the two of them, and then we're going to come back and react to it. So take a listen to this.
What about that old that he had the other night? The old point, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. What about those?
Okay, my turn. I wrote off Ben Simmons yesterday sitting right here in this chair because he just looked lost to me. But I had seen a glimpse in garbage time against Sacramento, and he made 5 baskets. They're not 3-point baskets. They're not 20-foot jump shot baskets. But at least I was thinking, well, he did do that. Last night, I got to tell you, I couldn't quit watching this game because I couldn't quit watching Ben Simmons, and I stayed up way too late watching what he did in the fourth quarter of this game, because what was the most impressive to me was what he did when they went hack-a-bin, because you've said he's unplayable in the fourth quarter. Am I right?
Yeah.
And not only did they go hack-a-bin, but the quotes from Ben Simmons after the game were, I love those moments. I'm not going to shy away from those moments. That was their plan. Obviously, it did not work. We were able to convert a couple of free throws, get some stops, and I keep building. Okay. If we could see the 4 free throws that he shot, let me get my notes here. The 4 free throws that he shot came fairly late in the game because it's at 3:28 and 2:56. So he's being played by Jacques Vaughn down the stretch. And he shoots and he makes. Interesting. Okay. And he shoots and he missed that one. That was the first of the next 2. And yet he had the guts to stand there after he'd missed one and he swished the next one. They all looked pretty good to me. They all looked like he wasn't afraid of the moment the way he has looked before. And obviously that's what ruined him in Philadelphia, was running from the late game free throw line.
You think teams are going to stop fouling him in that situation? Okay.
Nope, I do not. But that was a big start and a good start, and I liked what he said after the game. The other thing was that overall, I loved what Kevin Durant said. He said Ben Simmons was incredible. And I don't think Kevin's just spewing out a bunch of phony baloney words, but he said after the game, Kevin said, tonight, I think he did a good job just talking it up, commanding the offense, commanding the team on the defensive side of the ball. He controlled the game and was able to get us back into it. So Kevin is saying he's controlling the game. Well, that's why he made 3 straight all-star teams and 2 first-team all-defense. He controlled the game.
What did Kevin say the night before?
Okay, well, obviously they get blown out.
So you heard the exchange between Skip and Shannon there. First of all, let me just tell you guys that I think everything that Skip said about Ben Simmons It's an absolute comedy skit, like Saturday Night Live material. It's an absolute joke. I want to remind the people in the audience of exactly what Ben Simmons is doing this season. Okay, Ben Simmons in 11 games played is scoring 6.6 points per game. 6.6. He's shooting 53% from the field, but it's very easy to shoot 53% when you're attempting 5.3 field goals a game and making 2.8. That is 5 less field goal attempts than he was attempting last season. And last season, his numbers actually dipped. This season, he's shooting 0% from the three, and I'm going to get to that stat in a moment. He's shooting 52% from the free throw line, and Skip was up there talking about he walked up to the free throw line and hit those free throws with confidence. Are you freaking kidding me? He's getting you 6.7 rebounds, 5.7 assists, 2.1 turnovers, which is good, and 1 steal per game. And Ben Simmons has now been relegated to becoming a bench player. I want to factor that in as well. This was an all NBA defensive type of guy, now being relegated to a player coming off the bench. Think about that for a second. Here's another thing I want to point to. I have nothing against Ben Simmons. Nothing personal. I don't know him, don't care to know him. I don't care. The issue I have is his lack of development when you compare him to other NBA players and the people that try to make excuses for him not to improve. That's my issue. Ben Simmons in 5 seasons has only made 5 3-point shots. In this NBA today, where teams are attempting, I believe, around 34 to 35 3-pointers a game, he's only made 5. That's the first issue. The second issue, when you compare Ben Simmons to other players that came into the NBA that have improved over time, he's not one of them. If you look at players like Giannis, if you look at players like you look at players like Giannis, you look at players like Brandon Ingram, you look at players like Paul George, players like Pascal Siakam, so many other players, John Morant, Luka Doncic. These guys have been actually improving. In the case of Ben Simmons, he's actually staying the same. He's not improving at all. And that is the reason why whenever Skip and Shannon talk about Ben Simmons, it usually turns into a laugh-a-thon for Shannon Sharpe. Because the whole thing, if you're seriously trying to make a case for Ben Simmons, you got to be joking. There's no way you can defend a guy that's averaging less than 10 points a game when 2 seasons ago he was averaging, 16 points a game, and you want to tell me that you see improvement in his game. Ben Simmons has been on the decline for years now. It's not just starting this season. This is something that has been happening